welcome back everyone to a new video. Did you guys remember my Dark Souls of Pokemon video analysis thingy on Pokemon Fire Red Omega, the ROM hack? Well, to be honest, neither did I, but today I'll be continuing that series and finishing what I started. As you saw in my previous Nuzlocke attempt, it ended in complete disaster, so this time I will re-attempt it and do my best to win. Next time on Ding Dong Games, after being beaten, humiliated by our rival and being sent to the Shadow Realm, we return to the starting bonfire and have to reassemble our whole team. Can we get revenge on our rival? And more importantly, can we actually beat the rest of the game? Find out in the next exciting episode of Ding Dong Games. You guys might not think this is too hard, but trust me, it really is. This challenge is not for the faint of heart, especially the end of the post game. Loads of people will be saying, Mr. Ding Dong, this isn't a challenge. You can just over level to make the game really easy. Yeah, not really by the end of the game. I need to be careful this time, or I could lose at any point. I'll be playing this game with the standard Nuzlocke rules. I won't catch any Pokemon from the first route, as I won't have any Pokeballs at that point. Also, I cannot use any items from my bag during battle and set mode will be on. Also, one last rule is that I won't be using any of the huge variety of gift Pokemon available, including all of the starters, as they can really carry you through the game. The last restriction is that I will try to avoid over leveling if possible. If I know the level of my upcoming opponents, I'll try not to surpass that level by too much unless it's really necessary to win, just to keep things hard throughout the run. If you haven't seen part 1 then, what are you waiting for? Come on, do it now! It explains everything you need to know about this ROM hack, explaining what it does differently from the original Fire Red and why it's an improvement. So let's jump straight into this run and see how it goes. So I reset the game and claimed my new starter. Last time I chose Elekid and that didn't end very well, so this time I chose Magby, which is now souped up and has a lot of power for a starter. To make things harder, I purposely did not reset the game to choose an optimal nature. I rolled with whatever I got, and I got somewhat lucky as the nature wasn't too bad. I have the first battle against her nemesis, who ended our career last time, and I narrowly won against his starter this time. And yes, this will not be the first time I say this. So now we proceed till we get the ability to catch Pokemon, and we start building our team with whatever we find in the early areas of the game. One thing to be very careful of is that because I chose Magby, unless I get something to deal with Brock, I might be in big trouble, as Magby is at a big type disadvantage here. I catch a Mankey, a Pidgey, and I fish up a Barboach with an Old Rod, which is now available in Viridian City. So far, this is a very good team. Mankey and Barboach can let me easily handle Brock, while Pidgey has a plus attacking nature. More importantly, Whiscash is one of the very few Pokemon that can really wall the rival's Electabuzz. In this game it gets Ice Punch, but even that won't hurt Whiscash too much. With this promising team, I start to level everyone up until we all hit level 9, which is the same level as our rival's team, who we now proceed to battle. He sends out a Zubat first, but Pidgey destroys it easily as there's no good moves to hit it with. His ace Elekid is out next, and obviously I have to switch out to Barboach, who handles it easily enough, but I switch out again just to be safe, as my own starter finishes it off. One piece of advice in this game is to really not leave anything to hacks unless it's really necessary. Most Nuzlockers will know of times when a completely avoidable critical hit destroyed them, which is not fun at all. But that's the first rival battle done. But he only gets tougher from here on. Nice, now I can catch something else in Viridian Forest. The first Pokemon I find is Pidgey, but because of the dupe clause, I'll re-roll this time and I get a Metapod. Well, I have to run into trash eventually, but I catch it anyway, as it can be useful to have Pokemon to sacrifice early game. In Pewter City, I encounter a Nosepass, which is also not good, but I knocked out anyway by accident. Now it's time to prepare for the first gym, who will not be easy even with this team. Brock has a full team of 6 souped up Pokemon. We have to grind the whole team to be ready, but I don't exceed level 15, just so I can avoid over leveling. Barboach and Mankey are key here, but Magby also has Karate Chop, just in case it's forced out against the rock types. But trust me, do not get overconfident. Let's just say I've lost more than a few Nuzlockes in this game. So now the gym battle commences, and oh boy this was tense. Mankey is strong, it makes short work of Brock's Geodude, his first Pokemon. It even makes him waste a potion on it. Next up, however, is Vulpix, and this is where things really get dicey. Vulpix doesn't sound that scary, but then you see his move pool. Mankey seems to be winning against it, but the confused Ray hacks starts to get the better of it. I have to switch out, as I really cannot afford to lose Mankey here, so I switch to my Magby, who takes out Vulpix with a chop to the face. But in next is a strong Rhyhorn, and I have to pull Magby out. Barboach comes in next, as I don't want to switch in my damaged Mankey. It uses Water Gun, beats it easily. Next in is... what? Lord Dome! I mean, Kabutops, and it seems like I have the edge against it, until I remembered that it can use the move Absorb. Now I have to retreat again, but luckily Mankey barely gets scratched and wins against it. Next up is... oh my god, he's here, but it still catches his hands. Be gone, Lord Helix. Last up is Onix, and this was scary, as Mankey is low on HP here. I use Low Kick and almost one hit KO it, but Onix goes for Dig. I definitely will not survive that move, so I have to switch in my Pidgey to be immune to it, but Onix uses its Citrus Berry to restore its health. Now this is a bad matchup as Pidgey cannot do very much, and Onix is at full HP again, but I don't want to lose my Pidgey, so I switch in Metapod and order it to hold its ground, to buy the comrades time. It dodges 2 hits, but eventually goes down with dignity. Thank you, Metapod. I doubted you, but you contributed to my team. Mankey returns and smashes Onix in one kick in revenge, avenging our fallen comrade. Phew, that was dicey. But guess what? This challenge has only just started. There will be much more before we are done. This really is harder than most other challenge runs people do. Like, can you beat the game with only like a Mawile or something, or a team of bugs? That's not hard unless you purposely use a level cap. What next? Can you beat Pokemon using only Garchomp? Yeah, right. This game is hard as anything because in the late game, it's impossible to overlevel. Because the Elite 4 post game is like level 90, damn. But we move on now, continuing to train. In Route 3, I catch a Growlithe with Intimidate, which is useful, but as I already have Magby, a really good fire type, I don't need another one, so I keep it in reserve. I also caught a Zubat, but I don't need that now either as I already have a flying type as well. We clear Mount Moon, where Pidgey evolves into Pidgeotto, which is nice. We find the fossils, and this time I take... neither. That's right, I don't choose one. Come at me. There was this one time where I never knew that Slugma had Rock Throw, and it used it against Magby and left it with 1 HP, which terrified me. God, that was close. Seriously people, be careful in this run. We reach Cerulean City, and here the levels are noticeably higher, so we have to grind again. I catch a Pikachu in Route 4 which can be useful, so I take it. Then, in the city itself, I fish up a Horsea, which is cool. I like Kingdra, so I want to use it. The only problem is that Bubble is the only attacking move it has. But after seeing a trainer in Misty's gym using a level 22 Corsola, I decided to go through Nugget Bridge first and take on Green again, as Misty's gym seems to be quite high level. I have PTSD from the first part, where I got bodied by him in my previous run. I've recovered my lost souls and re-challenged Green again, with a pretty strong and well-rounded team. This time the tables have turned. He went down, but he still threatened my Magby. Oh well, at least I've surpassed my last playthrough, so we carry on and see what other Pokemon we can catch before we go to Misty's gym. The good news is that Magby evolves into Magmar at level 24, and is now a beast with its buffed up stats. It also learns the move Thunder Punch, which is great. Definitely try to keep this Pokemon around. Afterwards, I catch an Oddish and a Tailo, both of which will be useful at some point, but right now they're not needed. But, unfortunately a tragedy occurred. While grinding against a wild Pineco, it used self-destruct and knocked out my Horsea. Damn it! Most of you guys know that self-destruct is the bane of Nuzlockers. That's so annoying. Well, it turns out that the Oddish I just caught is now needed, so it's okay. After all, I still have Barboach, so I still got a water type in my team. But now the whole squad is ready at level 24, and we go to take on Misty. This was also a dicey victory that had a lot of hacks involved. Pikachu and Gloom between them beat Misty's first 4 Pokemon without much trouble. What I did against our second last Pokemon Togetic is that I switched in Magmar, had it set up Sunny Day, that way it can take on Starmie by weakening water moves. After some hacks, Togetic goes down, and there's one more Pokemon to go, Starmie. Magmar does damage it, but the paralysis it got causes problems, so I switch out to save my Magmar. The next part was really frustrating, As Pidgeotto switched in, it took a critical hit Shockwave and fainted, which really annoyed me. It was really weird because Water Pulse only did like 30%. Shockwave shouldn't have KO'd it, but maybe I was missing something. I miscalculated again as I brought in Pikachu, but it got outsped and KO'd. Damn it, not another one. Luckily Barboach pulled through and rolled a magnitude 8 and won. But I was at risk of losing outright here. Seriously, this was stressful and you really have to be careful. Now I need to replace my 2 fallen teammates. I used the Tailo that I caught and I go to the SS Hand to rebattle rival Green, though my team is a little bit underwhelming here. But luckily this battle wasn't too hard. But there was one complication. Green's Kirlia forced Primeape to switch into Barboach, but little did I know that it had to move Magical Leaf. Yeah, that one-shotted my Barboach. I was not happy about that, as my Barboach would have been really useful against Lieutenant Surge, but stuff like this happens. Goodbye Barboach. Magmar does clean up the rest though, paving the way to the 3rd gym. As I was about to challenge Lieutenant Surge, I grinded the team to level 31. I now have only 4 main Pokemon, and I brought 2 HM slaves with me. I did catch other Pokemon like Growlithe and Feebas, but they both fainted, and I wanted to catch something in Rock Tunnel, which was after the 3rd gym. I was taking a risk here, but oh well. And yes, this was yet another very dangerous gym battle. Man, these boss battles are really tough. Primeape takes out his first Pokemon Flaffy and almost beats Jolteon, but gets wounded in the process. Blossom is forced in, as it can wall it and put it to sleep. This then lets Magmar set up Sunny Day and knocks out Jolteon. Magmar also beats his ace Pokemon Raichu, but gets paralysed in the process, which is not convenient at all. Chinchou comes in and forces Blossom to switch in to beat it, and it does, but surprisingly the next Manectric hits us with Flamethrower, which I never even knew it could get in this generation. This forces Blossom to switch back out, and at this point I feel that I need to bring in my HM slave to sacrifice it, as I need to be able to switch in Magmar safely as it's paralysed. Thank you Krabby, I'm sorry I had to sacrifice you, but you've done your duty. Magmar switches back in and avenges his defeat by beating Manectric, though the Hax is really tense. Now only Magneton is left, and luckily we survive its hit, we don't get haxed, and we finish this battle. Oh my god, that was insane. One mischance and I would have lost again. From now on, I need to up my game, as I kinda let my guard down a bit. At least now, we can catch some more potential Pokemon in the later routes. In Rock Tunnel I caught a Larvitar, which is awesome. I'll need to be careful to raise it properly, so it can become a powerful Tyranitar. I also fish up a Slowpoke, which is also strong. I clear Rock Tunnel and grind everyone up. Larvitar evolves into Pupitar, but unfortunately my damn nemesis returns. A self-destruct user jumps Slowpoke. Damn it. To make it worse, I encountered another Horsea to catch, but I accidentally knocked it out. After reaching Erika's gym, guess what? Another casualty. Breloom used Counter and beat my Primeape. That's another Pokemon down. Remember my team at Misty's gym? Now that whole team is deceased except Magmar, my starter. I'll have to catch even more Pokemon, but I haven't found any good ones to use. I recaught a Growlithe and evolved it, but I will replace it soon. I also caught a Grimer with a good nature, so that's not bad. After grinding, I'm now ready for Erika. Hopefully this time the gym leader will be easier. Fortunately, this was the easiest gym leader yet, but even this one gave us a bit of trouble and threatened to KO our team members. There really was hacks involved in this one as well. That's the thing with this game, unless you're really highly overleveled, this is hard almost no matter what. Luckily the first victory bell misses Sleep Powder, which is really lucky. Blissey came in and used Ice Beam, which almost took him out Swellow. It really took me by surprise, but I did have to be careful as sleep hacks did hurt me, but with good timing and good strategy I managed to get through this battle mostly unscathed. Afterwards I pick up some charcoals and mystic waters to power up my team, then proceed to the next boss being Giovanni, and oh boy this was harder than expected. Once again I let my guard down. It was so tragic, as it turned out his Rhyhorn had Earthquake and beat my Pupitar while digging, even though it's a much higher level. No! It was the chosen one! We have to avenge it now. Blossom takes out 2 Pokemon and puts a Mychina to sleep before switching out, but of course Dragon Breath paralyzes it on the first try. Magmar beats Kangaskhan, but Jesus Christ that was close. Uncomfortably close. But at least he only has 2 Pokemon left. I have to switch out to Swellow as Blossom is hurt, and I can't afford to lose Magmar here. Luckily, Kingler for some reason just spams Endure, and basically lets my Swallow knock it out, leaving only his last Pokemon Persian, which is dangerous. I took it out, but I had to sacrifice my HM slave, and even then this was risky. One critical hit and my team would have been finished. It's so stressful knowing that in each important battle, you could die at any time. After that battle, I had Zubat and Shroomish to my team, but for God's sake my Crobat fainted while grinding, but eventually I was ready to face Green again, and this time he put up a way harder fight than last time. You really do have to keep on grinding to keep up with these big difficulty spikes. Now Green's team is much more well rounded than before, and once again Hacks comes into play, but this time I only lose one HM slave. None of my main team members faint, but it was still tense. His Electabuzz looked strong, but for some reason it kept using Struggle? What? That didn't make any sense. Is the ROM designer like trolling me or something? You know what, I'm not even complaining. Magmar can just roast his cheeks. I'll just carry on. In Lavender Town I found a Shuppet, but to be honest that's not too great. I found another Horsey, but stupidly it got knocked out by a Pursuit, which was really annoying. I did find a Doduo with an attack boosting nature, and I used this to replace Swallow as it's super strong. I grinded my team to face Koga, who was also an easier gym leader to beat, but unfortunately my Dodrio did faint. Damn it, I had high hopes for that Dodrio, but luckily after that Magmar melted his whole team as payback. Weirdly enough, half his team isn't even poison type, but oh well. Magmar is a beast, and my strategy is to keep Magmar as a late game sweeper after switching in safely, usually after Blossom puts something to sleep, but now it's time to move on. Now I have to prepare for Sylph Tower. Green will only be harder to beat, but at this point I really am running into problems here. This is getting dire, as many of my Pokemon have fainted. I don't have that many Pokemon left in my PC still surviving, and I'm running out of Fly and Surf users. I am allowed to bend the rules and use HM slaves if it's necessary to progress, but I'd rather avoid coming to that. I replaced Swallow and Cloyster with Pelipper and Snorunt, which I caught as I think it'd be better in the long run. Now I really cannot afford to lose any more team members, and have now exhausted every route until I reach the first 3 islands. This team will have to last. After more training, I go to battle Green again, being extra careful this time. Knowing that his lead is Crobat, I gave my Pelipper Ice Beam and led off with that. This battle automatically got off to a dicey start, with a powerful Gardevoir switching in. It went down, but it was not easy. A powerful Walrein was out next, and this was a huge threat. I switched in Breloom to take it out with a fighting move, but nothing else in my team could have really switched in here. But to my horror, it used Blizzard, landed it, and killed my Breloom in one hit. Goodbye my friend. Magmar avenged this, by sweeping the rest of his team, including Electabuzz, who did intimidate us a bit. Now I have to replace the fallen Breloom and bring in Cloyster for my PC and train the whole squad up again. Damn it, my PC is really running out of Pokemon. This is really not looking good. I forgot to search the Pokemon matching in Power Plant. I went in there and caught some Pokemon, but they weren't very good. I got like Eradicating and Minun. This is not looking good, but I go on to take out Giovanni anyway. Against Giovanni, I led off with my Cloyster, expecting him to lead off with his Rhyhorn like he did last time, but to my surprise, he actually led off with a Houndoom. At first, I didn't think very much of this as it's a fire type, but then it used Sunny Day, completely turning the tables on me. This scared me, and as Cloyster used Protect, Houndoom went for Solar Beam, which really scared me, so I definitely had to switch out here or else I'll lose my Cloyster. Magmar came in and finished it off, but a strong Nidoking came in next, so I had to switch out to Pelipper, who ended up sweeping his whole team along with Cloyster, leaving only his Persian left. More hacks was involved here, but eventually Arcanine finished the job. This was one of the easier boss battles in the game, but even this one had its hard points, where it could have been very challenging. At least there were no casualties at all this time. I'm actually surprised by this. You know this Nuzlocke run is hard when you're actually surprised that none of your Pokemon have fainted. After a bit more leveling up, I go to face Sabrina. We are approaching the end of the game, very slowly, but we are approaching. I get off to a great start against Sabrina, as I lead off with Arcanine, and it lays the smackdown on the first half of our team. But as Arcanine's special defense got lowered, Gengar came out, and I didn't want to risk it fainting against it, so I switched out to our ace again Magmar like always, who woke up from its hypnosis and wrecked the next 2 Pokemon, leaving only her ace Pokemon Alakazam. But this Alakazam was no pushover. I had to retreat again, and not even Blossom could switch in safely. It took a huge hit, so I had no choice but to once again sacrifice an HM slave, Minun, to get a free switch in. Thank you, Minun. Arcanine tries to avenge this, but his HP is just not too high. I don't expect to win here. I could potentially lose here depending on Alakazam's speed. This is really tense, but amazingly, Arcanine uses extreme speed, gets critical hit, and one hit KOs Alakazam. Wow, that was insane. Finally, I got some hacks going in my favour, but man, that was scary. Now I'm feeling quite confident in my team, especially as the next gym leader is a fire specialist. I don't expect this to be too hard, and I go for it anyways. This playthrough is really long. But, such hubris. How could I have been so foolish? It finally happened again. I got destroyed again. So let's go over this battle. The first Pokemon is a level 54 Arcanine. Jesus Christ, that's strong. Followed by a level 56 Blaziken. Oh my. Luckily they both missed their attacks and they both got beaten by Pelipper. So far so good. But next up was Typhlosion, and this part was crazy. I didn't expect much, but somehow it used the move Thunderbolt. What? Can it even learn that? I don't even know. Anyways, Pelipper is now deceased. I was in shock here. What followed next was even crazier. Typhlosion kept spamming Rest and Hyper Potions, and Magmar and Arcanine were barely able to put it down. Even Cloyster got fainted in one hit, but after that there were 3 more threats in his team to deal with. Solrock was next, and I had to switch in my Blossom, who took it out, but even Blossom took a lot of damage. Ninetales came in next, and I had no choice but to sacrifice my Ponyta. At this point, I don't see myself winning at all. Magmar is my last hope. Annoyingly, it gets put to sleep. Somehow, Magmar managed to beat Ninetales, and there's only one more Pokemon to go. At this point, I thought maybe I had a chance of turning this around. After all, Magmar is really strong. But it turned out that the worst was yet to come. In my horror, the last Pokemon on Blaine's team was also a Magmar. At this point, there was no hope, as my own Magmar got destroyed, ending the Nuzlocke. Now my whole team is defeated. Weirdly poetic that my own ace Pokemon was the one that destroyed my own team. Oh my god, this was mental. Overall, this run was wild. It was so hard and had me on the edge of my seat, but man, it was fun. Do not be disheartened by this defeat. I'll be back. So that concludes the video. I will get my revenge in this game at some point, mark my words. But anyway, stay tuned for more content. There'll be more coming out pretty soon. Thanks for watching and support me and all that. This is Ding Dong signing out.